Hi. So we are on the third week of the second box from February. So that would make week 7 if I'm counting correctly. And I'm super excited to make this page with you today. I have chosen the color prompt from February's box, and it's called Analogous Colors. The prompt says to use colors next to each other on the color wheel. Okay. And so I have a color wheel here just to show you. You can find these online and print them out. You can buy them in stores. You could make one. They're pretty easy to do. And they're actually really fun and helpful. And even if you know the color wheel and you know kind of all of this already in your head, sometimes it's nice to just have one to be able to say, okay, I really want to work with blue today. And I want to use contrasting colors, and I want it to be vibrant and dynamic. What colors, what could I really use if I'm doing like complementary or split complementary, or I'm painting my house or whatever it is. If you just want a little help, deciding what you are going to do. And this one is really nice because it has the tetradic square, so like the 4 colors that would go together, triadic, split complementary, complementary, and double complementary. So there's a lot of choices here if you look in the center there. But then also, if you see right here, there is this line that goes through 3 colors next to each other, and those are analogous colors. So if you just spin this around to whatever color you're kind of working with, and then you can see what other colors are next to it on either side, and in all of the other options. So I have, let's see, I have a green color, okay? But so what I'm only going to use 2 colors today. I've got this lime green, so it's probably more on the yellow green side, and then I have this Nebula Gelato. It's kind of like a blue green. So there's a green in between I'm skipping, but these are still analogous colors. They're still near each other on the color wheel, and so that will work. Okay. So that's what I'm going to use today, but I just wanted to give you a quick sort of look over of the color wheel and just kind of talk about it for a minute. Okay, so I've got my colors, and I've got some shimmer spray and fresh lime, and then I have that gelato. I've got my spritzer, so it's got some water in it there in case I want to move some color around. I've got my black and white Posca pens or acrylic paint pens. I haven't used this yet, and I thought it might be fun to maybe make this my focal point for today, okay? And I'm really focused on just playing and having no expectation. I really have no idea what I'm gonna do. I kind of want just a fun, playful, maybe abstract kind of background using these 2 mediums. And then, we'll see where we go. And I thought it might be fun to use this, but I'm not going to press anything into it to make any kind of pattern. I'm just going to use it to apply the medium onto my surface, okay? So I've got 1 blank page here, so I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to do a single page today, okay? And I think to start, maybe what I'm going to do is start with the lighter color, and it's a shimmer spray, so I've got to give it a good shake so that the mica powder is nice and mixed in here, okay? All right, and then I'm actually going to spray on here. Let's just see what happens. Oh, maybe I'm not going to spray. Darn it. I forgot that this guy doesn't want to spray. I've got to go through and clean out my my nozzles of all of these, but that's okay. So we're going to use it this way. Can always improvise, right? Okay, so I'm just putting a fair bit on here. And the first time, I'm going to take it as is and just kind of smush it around. Ooh, that looks really cool. Okay, now the first time you can see here I got a pretty good impression. The next 2 times is a bit less. But maybe if I take my water and spritz a little water on here and try again, I bet you I'm going to get a little bit more. Ooh, that's really cool. Ooh, I'm liking that a lot. So I'm just going to go here and there, spritz it one more time. Whoops, I put the lid on. Why would I do that? Okay, spritz it one more time, get as much of that pigment off here as possible. I love this. This is totally random and not something I would have ever been able to make deliberately, really, not exactly like that. And so I love it. I love when that happens. This is, remember, your journal is meant to be freeing and is meant to be a place where you just get to play and explore and not worry about what the outcome is going to be, how it's going to look, none of that, okay? So this is my page so far, and I totally love it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it goes really well with my word spill. It does kind of look like I just spilled some pigment all over there. So I think I'm going to dry it before I put the next layer on really quickly. Wow, this is just so pretty. I can't get over it. Okay, it's mostly dry. There's a little bit of wetness, but I don't mind that. Next, let's try the gelato and do the same technique and see what we get. And I'm just going to do some swirls, okay? And I don't think we're going to get any coverage. Yeah, it barely transfers. Gelato really, the magic comes in with the water. That's when it really is activated and brought to life. Unless you're going direct to the page, of course you can just scribble. But if you want it to move around at all, water is really helpful. And that is gorgeous. Now remember that Dylusion spray, either the shimmer spray or the regular, is reactivated with water. So one of the good reasons that we're doing analogous colors is because it's reactivated, when we add this gelato on top of it, it's not going to make mud because the colors are next to each other. So they're going to play nice. Okay, so let me get a little bit more water on here. And I'm just gonna, oh, that's really cool. I'm just gonna go here and there. I really like this kind of weird texture-y thing that's happening when I do that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I really like the way it looks. I am going to wipe the rest of this off and clean my block. So here you can see another way to use your block. You don't have to make an imprint and stamp with it. That way you can just use it to apply pigment to your surface. Alright, so now I have all of this here. Next, I do think I want to just take my gelato and add a little bit more. Let's see if this is dry. I feel like it's mostly dry. That gelato dries pretty much instantly. Whoops. Going crazy here. Okay, so I think I'm going to put spill here, I think. And I kind of want to make a circle here. Okay? And I'm just going to let it be scribbly. I really like the way that looks. And then I'm going to do little like dots over here, and I'm just going to do some little like doodly type things. Okay? Maybe I'm doing like that in the corners. Alright, that's fine. I just wanted to add a little bit more doodle. And then this is going to go on here. I kind of want this to be green, or at least somewhat green, because it's going to sit on that darker circle. So I think that might look nice. The really cool thing about these are Dina Wakley chipboards. They already have that white gesso surface, so you don't have to pre-gesso them, which I think is pretty amazing. So I don't want this to be perfect. I'm just kind of smushing it around. Okay, so it can be like that. Just messy, looks like it's painted or splattered on there a little bit. So there, that's really pretty. Love this color. And then I think that's going to look nice over the top of that. Okay, and then I do actually a little bit want to get my white gesso out. And we're going to do a little bit, actually I'm going to use my finger this time. And I'm just going to get a little bit of white gesso. And I'm just going to, I'm going to wipe most of it off there. I'm just going to do some white background. Now, of course, that gelato is going to make it be darker, right? And that's okay. Just playing, no pressure. I just want you to be able to play and enjoy the process and see what happens when you try different stuff. No big deal. And if it doesn't turn out the way you like, that's okay too. Hopefully you at least learn something from it. So look at now, you can really see that spill a lot better because the negative space underneath it doesn't have a bunch of stuff going on and distracting you from reading the word. So that's really all I wanted to do here. I didn't mind that it's slightly darker than white. I just really wanted to sort of diffuse and defocus that area. Okay, that's all I need for the gesso. I like to keep this close by because you never know when you're going to need it for a little something there. All right, I'm just going to clean this up really quick so that I don't wreck the pages on the other side because I got it folded over here. Okay, very good. How are we doing? Looks good. Okay, so now I think before I put this on here, okay, so I've got my paint pen. I've got a little bit thicker nib just so I can go around the letters a little bit quicker. And I'm just kind of tracing around them, and I really don't care if they're, you know, even or perfect. I don't mind scribbliness, you know. I just want to accentuate each, excuse me, each of these letters a little bit more, just to help them stand out against that lighter background. And I'm just going up to the edge. I'll show you the whole thing here in a second when I'm done. The other thing I love about these chipboard pieces is that you know, you can really do anything with them. You can leave them white and they look fantastic. You can paint them like this with a paint pen. You can put acrylic on them, sprays. You could use embossing powder on these and emboss them. That would be really cool. So many awesome things you can do. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of black around the edge here too. This is my focal point, so I really want it to stand out against the rest of the page. So I'm just giving it a little help, okay? Another thing you could do, now my spray isn't spraying, but I think yours should be. So you could use this as a background and the focal point and like put it here and then spray around it and then move it and spray around it. So then you have the word repeating here and there and then have it as the focal point too. That would be a really fun way to use this as well. So there's this. You see how it really is going to stand out now? Okay, so now I'm going to stick it down. Okay, so I've got my collage medium. You can use gel medium or matte medium, whatever. Well, it have to be thicker. So maybe not matte medium, the thinner version, but like the gel or the modeling paste, anything like that. The gel I like to use because it dries clear. So that's helpful in case you get anything spilling over. But this is a chipboard piece. And even though it's going in your journal, I would say I would tend to use slightly thicker material for sticking it down, just to be safe. But if you don't have that, you could definitely use any kind of craft glue or a glue stick. Again, this is going in your journal, so the other side of that is that, you know, the book is closed most of the time, and it's not going to be, you know, hanging on a wall or anything like that, or moving around too much individually, so you would be okay. But if you do have any kind of gel medium or something like that, I would recommend using that. Okay, I'm just gonna stick it down. I usually stick things down, press my hand flat like this. It's just a nice, even, easy way to get good pressure across whatever it is you're trying to stick. And then I let it sit for a sec. Now I've got a bunch of gel, or what is this? Collage medium kind of spilling through the letters there. So then I would just take a small paintbrush, and one that you don't really care about that much, that you're definitely not painting with anymore, because it's going to get kind of crusty and thick, but I always use the same paintbrush when I'm cleaning cleaning up gel like this. And you still want to make sure you wipe it really good, you know, and let it soak in water for a little bit. But even with that, it's not ever going to be back to any sort of way that you could use it like for painting, you know, and be effective. So just pick a paintbrush that's cheap, something you don't really care about that much. Definitely don't use a good paintbrush for this process, but I think it is important to have one or two sitting around, and a smaller one and even a bigger one, because sometimes you're working on bigger projects and it's easier to move a larger amount of this around at once. Okay, so we've got a little bit on the outside. Here we go. So I think, honestly, for me, this is done. I really love it. I love the word here and how it's represented on the page. I love the colors and how they work together. This is a really fun page for me. Again, like I've said before, I probably would go back and do some doodling, maybe with colored pencil or with a paint pen or something later on. But I like to do that in a separate process, sort of, when I'm sitting on the couch or relaxing, or just when, you know, I want to be crafty, but I don't necessarily like have a project or something particular in mind that I want to work on. I'll just do some doodling in my journal. So, and remember, you want to wait for all this to really dry fully, like for a full day maybe. Okay, so that is it. That is my journal page for today using Analogous colors, and I can't wait to see your project. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.